he forgot that he sent us that case, right? It took about a year to get to resolution, and we resolved it for six figures, and his portion of the fee was 15 grand.
Sharp strategies, sweet success.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Tiffany Swedensky, and you're listening to Sharp Strategies, Sweet Success. Thank you so much for joining with me today. Today, I am talking with Brandon Osterbind, who I met many years ago, and I'm trying to remember when, but it was probably right about the time I started working for GLM, so I guess 2015. And Brandon and his firm, Osterbind Law, they're based out of Lynchburg, Virginia. And they're a great people to know, great lawyers to know. I don't talk to you guys as often as I like, but I just remember loving Brandon Osterbind and the Osterbinds in general. I guess I'll just turn it over to Brandon to finish out the introduction. I don't know too much to say except we've known each other for a long time.
Yeah, I think it was probably around 2018. So you had been working at GLM for some time. We opened up our firm in Kelly and I, my wife and I, opened up our firm in 2017. And then shortly thereafter, kind of got plugged into the Ben Glass GLM world. And you were and still are a rock star in that world. So I remember showing up at a boot camp, I think in 2018. And then just like thinking, oh, how do they know so much about this stuff? Because I didn't know anything about, all the different ways that you can get clients. I thought it was all like just Yellow Pages, Google, pay per click, and all that, the easy, low-hanging fruit type stuff. So my wife and I are both attorneys. We met in law school, got married right after I finished law school, right before I finished law school, actually about 2 weeks before I finished law school. And we've been practicing together since 2017. But before that, I worked at a firm, a small firm here in town, and Kelly was a prosecutor here in town for many, many years. So we decided to bring it in and work together. And a lot of people ask us how we do that. And it's actually easy for us. I think, when you get along and when you go through law school and do like really hard things, you learn how to kind of work through those issues. And we joke that we don't fight, we mediate. So we're always looking for a positive solution for both sides.
And where'd you all, and maybe you mentioned it and I missed it, but where'd you all go to law school together at?
At Liberty University School of Law. So Kelly was in the first class. So they opened up the doors for the law school in 2004. And Kelly was graduating from undergrad and decided that she wanted to go. And I graduated from undergrad in 2005 and started law school that same year. And she was a year ahead of me. So I like to steal her outlines in law school, and she would never voluntarily give them to me. But it was a little cat and mouse game, but it was a lot of fun.
Oh, that is so cute. Are you both doing primarily legal work now, or is she doing the marketing? Are you doing the marketing? Like, how are you guys splitting that up right now at your firm?
Yeah, we both do a little bit of legal work, but she is doing more business related stuff, and I'm doing more like of the marketing stuff. So like, you think about payroll, I don't know, all the business stuff that has to happen just to make the wheels continue to turn. And then I'm doing a lot of the marketing, almost all of the marketing right now. And we have a couple of other attorneys. We have two other attorneys right now on staff, soon to be a third. We're welcoming a third in next week to help us get some more of the legal work done. So that's kind of how we divide up the workload.
And I'm always kind of curious about that because I love my husband to pieces, but also I could never imagine like working with them day to day and stuff like that. But I guess you guys just have that kind of easy charisma together and just able to work and go home and all that stuff. Is it ever difficult or challenging?
I tell people that she just tells me what to do and I do it, and that makes her happy and the stuff gets done. So it's a little bit of a easy relationship that way. I will say too, we've kind of set it up to where she doesn't have an active court schedule. She'll do some work on cases and make sure that things are moving forward from that perspective. But for the most part, we have four small kids, not small, with 14, 12, 10, and 7 years old, but it's really active. There's a lot going on with them. So we kind of designed our practice to be able to be flexible so that at least one of us, if we need to take off for any reason, any day, that can happen. So field trips, she's always going on field trips with the kids. She leaves early and picks them up from school. Those sorts of things. You take some. I take off on their birthdays as well. We take them cupcakes. For all their friends. Well, not the middle schoolers and high schoolers. They don't want cupcakes anymore. But the little ones still want cupcakes on their birthday. So we'll do that. But we've really designed our firm just to be able to have that freedom to where, even if I can't be there because I've got depositions or court or something like that, she can absolutely be there for whatever needs to be done.
So, and just because I had this conversation with my kids, my husband earlier this week. So, do you like require that your kids participate in extracurriculars, or do you just kind of let them pick? Like, how do you guys do anything specific with them in that?
We've never had to require it. They always want to do things, and it's actually like we kind of have to. We don't know the answer to this, right? Like, what is the fine line of what is too much? Kelly and I were just talking about this. There's so many things. I think, my boys, they want to do flag football, they want to do basketball, they want to do it all, and there's only so many hours in the day. And my girls both are on the cheer team at school, and they both dance, and they all go to youth group and church and all that stuff. And it seems like it's a never-ending list of things to do. So we've never really had to push our kids to participate in extracurriculars. We've kind of just talked about how do we hold them back from doing too much.
So, are you like managing your own calendar, your own email, or do you have like a VA or assistant who's helping you with all that stuff?
Yeah, that's been a struggle of mine for a long time, and I actually just got an EA from Athena. I know a lot of people in our world are using Athena EAs. They're trained really well. I know. So yeah, it's been helpful to open my email and only see the things that I have to look at, because I get so many emails and so many different people pitching me this, that, or another, and it's amazing how much brain power and energy it takes just to sort through and delete a ton of things. But now I'm kind of getting almost reinvigorated with email because I'm not having to spend the half hour, 45 minutes, or whatever it takes to just go through and figure out what's important to what I actually have to look at. So I've in the process of delegating my inbox and delegating my calendar to my EA, and he's doing a pretty good job with it so far. So we'll just keep slowly and surely just getting my hands out of it, and hopefully my schedule will look a lot better in the future.
Well, it's so funny. Something like email and calendar, like when I delegated that to Glenda, my EA, oh my gosh, like just such a huge improvement in like overall quality of life for me. It's just remarkable. And yeah, like opening, I don't know what the actual statistic is, but like opening an email and then opening the next email, it's like task switching. And you go from one task and then you basically have to kind of reset. And it takes, I think, like 5 minutes to fully reset and process what just happened, move on to the new one. And so, like, addressing each email with like brain power and thought power, it's hard. And it's really hard when you're sifting through where 3/4 or more of your emails are just, notifications, sales emails, an email you already handled or something that's already been addressed. And it gets overwhelming. Like, I remember being like obsessed with making my email inbox zero, just keeping it zero, no unread messages. I was a little bit, what you call it, compulsive about that, I guess. And now, like, as a business owner, like that's a untenable fantasy to have a zero inbox, unfortunately, even with an EA looking over it. So I highly
Oh, I hear
recommend.
you. I think I've got 30 or so in my inbox right now, and I'm like, I actually need to like put some brain power into doing things. Like they're there for a reason. They're not deleted because they're not junk, right? So that stuff needs to get done. But to have 30 versus 300, it's a pretty big difference.
So, what are you guys doing for marketing right now? Like, where are you guys focusing, like your energy, thought power, budget, all that stuff?
So we're getting a lot of cases from referrals. I was actually just looking at this a couple weeks ago. Of the cases that we've resolved this year, we've paid out referral fees on about a third of them, which is a lot. I didn't realize it was that much. But one of the things that we did probably 2 years ago was we sent a long sales letter to all the lawyers here in Lynchburg, and it was very crystal clear. Send me your personal injury cases. I think that was the big red letters on the very top of the first page. But then it had a discussion for I think 10 or 12 pages about how we handle personal injury cases, an introduction to our team and who we are, and why we like to do personal injury cases. Because most of the people in Lynchburg are general practitioners. They're divorce lawyers, they're criminal defense lawyers, or they do like wills and trusts and things like that. There aren't a whole lot, there are a few, there aren't a whole lot of personal injury lawyers here in town. So we really focused our attention on the general practitioners and the people who specialized outside of PI. But then we followed that up with a one-page newsletter every month, just telling a story about a case where a lawyer referred us a case and we had a positive, successful outcome. And I think that's been really effective for us. We've gotten a lot more lawyer referrals since we started doing that. And then people will stop me all the time at bar events or over at when there's an event over at the law school or something like that. Oh, I got your newsletter and this was awesome. I can't believe he did that. We had a lawyer who had shut down his practice probably 10 years ago or so and was only kind of doing part-time like collection work for a local bank. And he had never sent me a case ever. But one of the vice presidents at the bank, her niece, slipped on some ice and fell. It's pretty serious injuries. And he said, "Oh, well, go talk to Brandon Osterbind." He forgot that he sent us that case, right? It took about a year to get the resolution, and we resolved it for six figures, and his portion of the fee was 15 grand. So when we called him to make sure we had the right address to send him a check, he just about fell out of his seat when he found out that he was getting a check, and when he found out that how much it was. It was like, I mean, $15,000 for someone who's doing part-time collections work and retired is a good bit of money. So that has been really effective for us. And we do a general newsletter as well. So anyone who's ever given us their address for any reason, they're on our list, our mailing list. So we'll send them just kind of a feel good, this is who we are, life stories, that sort of thing, newsletter. Just hoping that they'll remember us and not forget us. Because most people just don't care about who their lawyer is, right? And I think I'm positive I learned this from you and Ben, right? Like when someone has a personal injury case, and time goes by, they have no idea who you were 10 years from now. And I've talked with clients who have been in car accidents. We always ask about pre-existing injuries and accidents and things like that. And oh, did you have a lawyer? Yes, I did. Who was it? I have no idea. Right? Like,
I'm sorry,
let's not
that's funny, but
let's not be that guy, right? Who is so forgettable that you got them a good result, but they still have no idea who you were. So the monthly newsletter is really just to stay top of mind, even if you just live in their pile of mail on their kitchen counter for a couple of weeks. Like you've gotten a little piece of their attention, and they haven't forgotten you.
I actually did a webinar yesterday, and I think it's available on Substack now if anyone wants to go and check out the Substack and read it, but or watch the video rather. But I talked about that on the webinar yesterday where you have somebody on your referral list and they might be there for years and you're sending stuff to them. I think a lot of people, it's easy to like look at your list and be like, oh, this person has never sent us a referral, cut them. But you're cutting off the possibility of future referrals. You're cutting off the possibility that they might refer you a six-figure case, one day. And that seems like a fringe example, but I talk to a lot of attorneys and a lot of law firms. It happens, that one person who you've known, and they didn't even remember referring the case to you. I imagine that was a great surprise. I bet they love you now. But it's so easy to like everyone kind of gets main character syndrome where it's like we think people will remember us forever, but people forget. I don't remember my doctor's name. Like I always try to remember it, but I like, and I see them once a year, maybe twice a year. I still don't remember their name. I always like have to Google it, like whenever I come to that part in a form or something. And it's terrible, but my doctor never follows up with me. My doctor doesn't check in with me or send me a newsletter or send me a text. And I'm not saying they should, but that's how people end up forgetting about,
Yep.
somebody made a huge impact on them. Yeah. So you get and actually, I guess I'll mention like it's a small world, but I think I have seen that letter that you sent out to other attorneys because somebody else sent it to me as an example of something they wanted to do that was similar. So
I know who did that. I shared it with the
Yeah.
group I'm in, a mastermind that I'm in, and I know that you work with one of the law firms in that group.
I'll just say it. It's Scott McNair and their estate
100%. Yep.
practice.
Yep. Brad's in the group. I love Brad.
Oh yeah, Brad's a sweetheart. And we're working on getting him to do more video. And he just kind of hates it. Everyone's getting used to it, I think. Are you doing a lot of video now, or are you stepping your toes in the water on that?
So I have done a lot of video. I'm not good at consistently doing good video. So that's always been a struggle. Like I've got all the equipment, I've got all the things that I need to do. I've got really no excuse for why I'm not doing a lot of video. But most of it's really been amazing because if you would have, I mean, you've known me for a long time. You've been in masterminds where I'm in the room, and you've heard me, complain about problems getting cases and what that looks like. And I remember being in a mastermind. I'm sure you were probably there 4 or 5 years ago. And my goal was to get 3 to 4 new cases a month. I think about that now. I'm like, that's 3 to 4 cases a month, and I'm like, why can't I get 5 cases a month? And like as you grow and as you put these things into place. Now we're getting like 11 cases a month, and I'm like, how do I get to 15 cases a month, right? It's like step by step by step.
I mean, that's where a lot of law firms start. They start with I need 2 to 3 cases. Actually, I had a meeting with a vendor, and God bless them, they were just pitching the wrong business. But one of my law firms, we're to the point where we're signing like 30 cases a month, and I'm humble bragging on that. But I got on the meeting with a vendor, and the vendor, said like, how would you like to get 3 to 4 more cases a month? And I was like, that's the wrong pitch for this law firm. But everyone starts there. Like worked with so many law firms who are in that range, like signing 3 to 4 cases a month. And then you just grow from there. And it's always a process. Like it's never like a light switch. You have to implement stuff. You have to work at it. You have to grow your team. And everyone who owns a small business, myself included, like struggles with problems of scale and just how to fill the pipeline. And I mean, I feel like there are businesses who like figure it out overnight. I'm sure they exist, but everyone else, again, myself included, is just like you. We start at this place and then it just takes time. And so it's awesome the way you guys have been growing and expanding. And I mean, getting to where you are now, I mean, numbers wise per month, it doesn't seem like a big deal, maybe depending on who you talk to. But like if you talk to people who know who work in personal injury, that's huge growth. And so yeah, like it's always nice to see somebody go from, stage 1 to like stage 3 to stage 5, and I'm kind of arbitrarily naming stages, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Well, I mean, just like think of the year, right? So if you're getting 3 cases a month, that's 36 cases a year, right? But if you're getting 11 cases a month, that's 100 and 132 cases a year, right? That's a big difference. And just the capacity to be able to handle 132 new cases in a year, what I'm finding is pretty significant. So we've been working a lot over the last year just on building out our capacity. And then, you try to always match capacity with, the new cases coming in. Like, how many cases do I need in the inventory to fill a day for all the people that I have working here? And like, okay, well, I can't go backwards, right? So I'm like, as I look at it every month, I'm like, please God, don't let me go backwards. And then some months you kind of do, and then other months you jump forward a little bit. And on average, we're still sitting here at 11 cases on average a month. And I'm still trying to figure out what the next step is to get beyond that. I will say, you asked me a while ago, like, what are you doing? And we're doing the mailers. That's a big thing. We are doing some Facebook ads now. I kind of see Facebook ads almost as like a cheaper version of a billboard these days, right? Like, so I'm not necessarily thinking I'm going to get a whole bunch of clicks and new leads or new cases that I can attribute to the Facebook ad, but it's almost like the mailer. Like, I want to stay top of mind for people. I want people to remember who I am. So one of the ways I can do that is I can just constantly show up in their Facebook feed, right? With a different version of an ad. So we're doing a little bit of that just to stay top of mind for people. And we're getting a good number of leads from Google local service ads, which have kind of ebbed and flowed a little bit, right? When it came out, it was super hot. Then it kind of dried up a little bit. And now I feel like it's kind of back on track, and we're actually getting some decent leads from it. But we're not doing any PPC. I know you've done some PPC stuff for us in the past, but the cost to get into that and to actually make a difference is so exorbitant right now that we're just not doing it, and we're putting that money more offline in different places to try to get more people to know, like, and trust us in relationships and things like that.
Yeah, Google has a limited inventory of personal injury cases to send attorneys, and particularly when you narrow it down to geographics, and a lot of money competing for those cases, which is why, like, Google ad spends get astronomical. And really, like, these days, it's like you need at least 15 grand a month to be competitive in personal injury, car accident, truck accident, workers' comp, medical malpractice, a little bit different. But, for the major PI cases, the ones that most law firms want, it's very expensive. And, with local service ads, it's always ebbs and flows because, again, going back to that inventory issue. But like you mentioned, Facebook ads, like, I love retargeting, website visitors, people who end up in our CRM, our leads, our clients, because, clients can see our ads, and if we refresh them and they're not seeing the same ad forever and ever and ever, it reminds them to refer. It can help convert leads. It can help convert website visitors. And now my team is experimenting a lot with doing direct lead generation from Facebook and sending that lead directly to Lead Docket, or we haven't talked about CRMs. I don't know if you're using Lead Docket. And well, it's great. I talk about it all the time because I love Lead Docket. But, we're sending leads directly to the intake team effectively, and they're following up with them the same way they would phone calls. And what I love about Facebook ads, and the reason that it's hard to find agencies who do Facebook ads, is because it's cheap. Google ads, you have to pay like an agency fee, right? And the agency fee can be huge in personal injury, but in Facebook, like, you can $10 a day, $20 a day and get really decent results and actually get a ton of leads. And it's something that lead generation companies who sell to lawyers use all the time. But, lawyers, just regular law firms are starting to do more Facebook ads themselves. At least it seems that way to me. And I'm really happy about it because at least it's a space where you can do paid ads and not spend 15 grand, 20 grand a month. Because that's just heartbreaking. Trying to keep the CPA in range. Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah, that's why we're out. I remember when your advice was, if you're not spending $4,000 a month, you're not really in the game. And then it went to 8, and now it's 15. Whew. Yeah, and I think it's the Morgan and Morgan effect, probably, right? It's where they're just the more they go into all these different markets, like they're advertising Google PPC in Lynchburg now. They don't have an office in Lynchburg. I think they might have one office in Richmond, but they're advertising all throughout Virginia and all these different metropolitan areas. So that's a direct competitor who has unlimited resources to bump up those price per click. So that makes it super challenging from a Google PPC campaign perspective.
Oh, for sure. Was there anything that you wanted to talk about that we didn't get to so far in the podcast?
I'm actively interviewing for a marketing specialist. I'm trying to find someone to come in and help me get some of these things out the door because they're lagging a lot. A lot of things I'll start, but I won't finish. If I can get someone else to start some of these things and let me finish it, that would be a little bit better for me. But I'm interested in maybe picking your brain on who is the best type of person to look for. I've got several different applicants have come in, some with small business experience in their background, some with big business experience in their background, some with news experience working for news companies in their background. Actually, I have a couple, maybe 2 or 3 of those that have come through this time around, which is new to me. But I'm interested to hear your thoughts on when you're hiring and this will be our first, really, I mean, we had one marketing person years and years ago that didn't work out, lasted about 2 months before it didn't work out. And at that point, it was kind of swore off, but I'm trying to do it different and do it better this time. So any thoughts or advice that you have from that perspective? What do you look for in your first marketing hire?
So it usually it comes back to the job description. Like, what do you really need this person for? But just giving wholesale advice and just what I tell everyone, like for me, you need a marketer who's good with writing, who can tell a story, I guess more specifically, because like ChatGPT can do a lot. I automate a lot of things with ChatGPT, and I use ChatGPT to assist or do a lot of writing. Like, what I don't like to qualify it. Everyone uses ChatGPT. But ChatGPT isn't always the best at persuasive copywriting. And, I'll stand by that statement. I haven't been proven wrong yet. And so you need somebody who can one, understand what it means to be persuasive and just tell a story. Like, that's a lot of what we're doing in content marketing these days, is being entertaining, weaving narratives. And so you need somebody who has that, they don't have to have a strong writing ability. They don't have to be the best, but they can at least weave a narrative, like I said. And then, the second part for me is some technical skills. Like they don't have to be like a web developer. They don't have to be an automations engineer or whatever you call that. But they have to be able to use they have to be able to know the basics of a CRM. Like if you say we use ActiveCampaign or MailChimp, do you think you could use it? Do you think you can learn it? And just have them confidently answer yes. And it's strange to me, because it seems like all marketing is super technical these days, but I still meet marketers who, how do I drag a button from here to here? And it's like, that's a drag and drop builder. That's probably some of the easiest kind of interface you could use. And that's hard to train. And it's hard to set them loose, if they don't have that kind of base knowledge. And so they don't have to be a wizard or whatever you call it, but, understanding and using the basics of most computer programs. And actually, that was the reason I made my first hire, Randa. She's worked with me 2 years. Damn, actually, it'll be 2 years this year. And she previously had owned a little small business, like a craft business. But she's just really highly confident with technology. Like, she just doesn't have to ask me how to do this, how to do that. I've had to train her on a lot of stuff. But, as far as, open this new program you've never used before and figure it out, she's really good at that. And for me, that's base. That's who you're looking for. Tells a story, can use computers confidently well. And everything else just depends on what you're going to have them do, I think.
That's good advice. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. Well, Why don't you tell them, Brandon, where you want them to find you on your website or on LinkedIn or on social media? Just let them know where they can look you up.
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn periodically, probably more than any other social media site out there. So I'm just Brandon Osterbind, Osterbind. Always have to spell that because no one can spell it after I say it. Or you can look us up on our website, osterbindlaw.com. Those are probably the two best places to find me.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Brandon, for joining me today and, just talking. It was nice reconnecting. Thank you, everyone, so much for listening, and join us next week for a new episode of Sharp Strategy, Sweet Success.